It's Tim Cheese of a Tech Spot here, and this is the new Dell XPS 13. Now, if you watched my video review of the previous model, you'll probably notice that this laptop looks pretty similar, and that is definitely true. But Dell has made some slight improvements to this device that make it still one of the best Windows laptops you can buy on the market today. We'll start off by going through what hasn't changed in the XPS 13 for late 2015, and one of those aspects is the design. We're still seeing aluminium on the back of the laptop lid and also on the base, and there's a soft touch plastic around the keyboard that feels quite nice during operation. The keyboard is still extremely well laid out and feels great to type on, and the trackpad has improved thanks to software updates and also the inclusion of Windows 10 by default on this laptop, which make the whole experience of using it just a whole lot better. We're also seeing the same display options. A 1080p screen without a touchscreen is the default option on the lower end models, and if you're willing to pay about $300 more, you can get a touchscreen model with a resolution of 3200 by 1800. That's a high resolution panel. It's the one that I received to review, and it looks simply fantastic. That said, the 1080p model does offer slightly better battery life. In our battery life figures, we saw around 2 to 3 hours more battery out of the 1080p model without a touchscreen, so that's something to keep in mind. And also the accuracy and color reproduction between both panels is pretty similar, if slightly better on the 1080p model. But if you're wanting the high resolution panel and also the benefits of a touchscreen, you probably will want to spend that extra bit more to get the QHD Plus model. Again, that goes for a couple of $100 more. Also, many aspects of the specifications of the new Dell XPS 13 remain the same as the previous model. We're still getting two USB 3.0 ports, an SD card slot, and a 3.5mm jack on the body, as well as a proprietary power connector. And internally, we're still seeing the same 56 watt-hour battery. One of the big changes, though, is the inclusion of Thunderbolt 3, which replaces the mini display port on the previous model. And this brings 40 gigabit per second connections if you happen to have a Thunderbolt 3 device, as well as USB 3.1 through a USB Type-C connector. And this brings a whole wealth of improvements such as USB power delivery. You can charge your smartphones quite easily from this device, as well as high-speed data transfers, and also the benefits of Thunderbolt 3 in the same port allow you to connect things such as two 4K 60Hz displays at once. So it's a really good inclusion on this new XPS 13. The other big change to the XPS 13 is the inclusion of an Intel Skylake CPU, which replaces Broadwell from the previous model. In the review note I received, it was equipped with a Core i7-6500U, clocked on 2 cores at up to 3.1 GHz, and performance across general tasks and also things like light video editing and intensive web browsing. I thought the performance was definitely very good with the QHD Plus display. You can also do a small amount of light gaming depending on the games you're playing. If it's not too intensive, the GPU in this Skylake CPU won't have too much trouble dealing with that. Compared to the previous gen model with its Broadwell CPU, we're only seeing gains of around 10% on the CPU side and 20 to 30% on the GPU side. And while these performance gains aren't anything to sneeze at, they're certainly important, especially for the GPU in an Ultrabook. It's not going to make you upgrade from the previous gen XPS 13, but if you do have a laptop that's 2 years or older, I would say the performance improvements that Skylake produces, as well as improvements to battery life, could be getting into the territory of being worth an upgrade. And this laptop is certainly one of the better Windows laptops you can get on the market. While there haven't been too many changes in this new XPS 13, there are still some of the awesome things that made the previous gen model worthy of my recommendation, such as the ultra slim bezel around the 13.3-inch display that makes this laptop fit into the profile of a 12-inch laptop. That of course makes it more portable. It's also quite light, and it's not as slim as some of the best laptops on the market, and it doesn't include any hybrid tablet functionality, but for a laptop, I still think that the XPS 13 does what a laptop should do really, really well. The only place I can see the XPS 13 stumbling is in its pricing and configuration options. The $800 entry-level model, equipped with just a Core i3 CPU and 4GB of RAM, is a little bit underpowered for my liking, while the top-end models, such as the $2,500 one kitted out with a Core i7 CPU, QHD Plus, and 1TB of storage, are certainly more on the expensive side, and even the model I received to review costs $1,650, and compared to some other laptops on the market, you can get similar specifications for a few $100 less. Where I think the value lies in the XPS 13 is the $1,000 model, which comes with a 1080p non-touchscreen display, slightly better battery life than the QHD Plus model, although the display isn't as nice, and it still comes with the good enough performance for general usage. So if you're opting for an XPS 13, definitely look around that $1,000 mark rather than the low or the high end. And that's it for this review of the Dell XPS 13 for late 2015. Don't forget to check back on techspot.com where we've got full performance benchmarks and analysis of this device. Subscribe to this YouTube channel for more video reviews coming in the future. Thanks guys, and we'll catch you on the next TechSpot video review.